Ever listen to a song 100 times, then one day you actually hear it? Every breath you take by the police sounds like a love song until you realize it's something much darker. Today, we're breaking down why these lyrics stuck in our heads for decades aren't romantic. They're a masterclass in psychological tension. No theatrics, just a closer look at how 3 minutes of smooth melody hide one of pop music's most unsettling stories. At first glance, the lyrics might sound like a love song, someone deeply devoted, paying attention to every little thing their lover does. But when you look closer, there's something unsettling about it. The speaker is claiming an intense, almost obsessive level of surveillance over another person. They are not just saying, I care about you. They're saying, I see everything you do and I'm always watching. The repetition of every is key here. It's used 4 times in just these few lines, emphasizing how nothing escapes the speaker's notice. Every breath, every move, every bond you break, every step you take, it's all being monitored. This creates a sense of control, like the person being watched has no privacy or freedom. The line, every bond you break, is especially interesting because it suggests the speaker is aware of even the relationships this person tries to leave behind, which adds a manipulative or possessive tone. Then there's the famous line, I'll be watching you. On its own, it could be romantic, like a guardian angel or a protective partner. But in this context, it feels more like a threat or a warning. There's no warmth in it. Instead, it's cold and unchanging, like a surveillance camera. The speaker isn't asking for permission or offering love. They're stating a fact. No matter what you do, I'll always be there, observing. Overall, this verse sets up the song's creepy, controlling vibe. It plays with the idea of love and devotion, but twists it into something darker, making the listener question whether this is about affection or obsession. The lyrics are simple, but the meaning is layered, and that's what makes them so effective. Verse 2 continues the theme of obsessive surveillance, but it digs even deeper into the unsettling nature of the speaker's fixation. The first line, every single day, reinforces the idea that this isn't a fleeting attention, it's constant, unrelenting, and inescapable. There's no break from being watched, which makes the tone feel more suffocating than loving. The next line, every word you say, suggests that the speaker isn't just observing actions, but also monitoring speech. This adds a new layer of control. It's not just about what the person does, but what they express. It's almost like the speaker is keeping a mental record, making sure nothing goes unnoticed or unjudged. Then comes every game you play, which is interesting because it implies that the person being watched might be trying to hide something or manipulate the situation. But the speaker sees through it, framing their own watchfulness as all knowing and inescapable. The line, every night you stay, could be interpreted in a couple of ways. It might mean the speaker is tracking where this person sleeps, creepy, or it could suggest they are aware of every moment the person remains in a relationship or situation, possessive. Either way, it reinforces the idea that there's no escape from this scrutiny, day or night. Finally, the repetition of I'll be watching you at the end drives home the song's central theme. This isn't care, it's control. The speaker isn't offering protection or affection, they're asserting dominance. The more you hear these lines, the clearer it becomes that this isn't a love song at all. It's a song about possession, paranoia, and the loss of personal freedom. The simplicity of the lyrics makes them even more haunting because they sound sweet on the surface but reveal something much darker when you really listen. The chorus is where the song's possessive undertones fully reveal themselves, shifting from subtle surveillance to outright ownership. The line, "Oh, can't you see, you belong to me," is shockingly direct. It's not a request or a plea, but a declaration. The speaker isn't just watching, they're staking a claim, treating the other person as if they're property rather than an equal. This isn't romantic devotion. It's control disguised as love, blurring the line between affection and obsession. The next line, "How my poor heart aches," tries to frame the speaker as the victim, as if their suffering justifies their behavior. But instead of sounding vulnerable, it comes off as manipulative. It's like they're saying, "Look how much you hurt me by existing independently," which is a classic guilt tripping tactic. The ache isn't from rejection or heartbreak, it's from the other person simply taking steps, literally and metaphorically, outside the speaker's grip. Finally, with every step you take, loops back to the surveillance theme, but now it's paired with emotional punishment. Each move the person makes doesn't just get watched, it causes pain, as if their freedom is a personal betrayal. This twists the narrative into something even darker. The speaker makes their own heartache the other person's fault, implying that if they just stopped moving, stopped living their own life, the speaker wouldn't have to suffer. It's emotional blackmail wrapped in poetic language. Overall, the chorus strips away any pretense of tenderness and exposes the song's true nature, a portrait of unhealthy attachment where love is confused with ownership. The repetition of "every step you take" from the verses now feels even more loaded. It's not just observation, it's a chain, and that's what makes the song so chilling. It sounds sweet and smooth, but the lyrics are a masterclass in how love can curdle into something toxic. The post-chorus amplifies the song's themes of surveillance and psychological control, but this time it digs even deeper into the idea of deception and distrust. The repetition of "every move you make" keeps the creepy, watchful tone from earlier, but now it's paired with "every vow you break," which introduces a sense of betrayal. The speaker isn't just observing, they're keeping score, holding the other person accountable for broken promises. This shifts the dynamic from passive watching to active judgment, as if the speaker sees themselves as some kind of moral authority over the other person's actions. The next line, "every smile you fake," is especially unsettling because it suggests the speaker believes they can see through the other person's emotions. It's not just about actions anymore. It's about doubting their sincerity, assuming their happiness is a performance. This line makes the speaker seem paranoid, as if they're convinced nothing about the other person is genuine. Then comes "every claim you stake," which could mean the speaker is monitoring the other person's ambitions, relationships, or even their independence. It's as if any attempt to assert themselves or build their own life is being watched and possibly resented. By ending with "I'll be watching you," yet again, the post chorus drives home the inescapable nature of this surveillance. There's no room for privacy or autonomy because the speaker's gaze is constant, unblinking, and all consuming. The tone isn't protective, it's predatory. The more the lyrics repeat these ideas, the clearer it becomes that this isn't love, it's a power play. The speaker doesn't trust, doesn't let go, and doesn't allow the other person to exist freely. Instead, they position themselves as an ever present shadow, turning what could have been a love song into something far more haunting. The bridge shifts from the song's earlier tone of detached surveillance to something more raw and desperate, revealing the emotional wreckage beneath the obsession. The opening line, "Since you've gone, I've been lost without a trace," suggests the speaker isn't just watching, they're completely unraveling. The phrase, "without a trace," is ironic because the whole song has been about not letting the other person leave a trace unnoticed. Now, the speaker is the one feeling erased, flipping the power dynamic in a way that almost makes them sound pathetic rather than threatening. When the lyrics say, "I dream at night, I can only see your face," it takes the obsession to a new level. Even in sleep, there's no escape. Dreams are usually where the subconscious processes unresolved feelings, and here, they're completely dominated by the other person. This isn't sweet longing. It's fixation so intense it invades the speaker's subconscious. The next line, "I look around, but it's you I can't replace," admits helplessness, but in a way that still feels possessive. The speaker isn't just missing someone, they're refusing to move on, as if the other person is irreplaceable, not because of love, but because of the speaker's inability to let go. The physical imagery of "I feel so cold and I long for your embrace" is telling. Coldness often symbolizes emotional emptiness, and the speaker isn't just craving love, they're craving control disguised as affection. The bridge's final line, "I keep crying, baby, baby, please," is the most vulnerable moment in the song, but it's also manipulative. The repetition of "baby" and the begging tone make it sound like a child's plea, as if the speaker is trying to guilt the other person into returning. It's emotional blackmail, masking neediness as devotion. Overall, the bridge exposes the sadness beneath the song's earlier menace, but it doesn't make the speaker sympathetic. It makes them unsettling in a new way. They're not just a stalker, they're a broken, desperate person who can't function without the object of their obsession. The lyrics walk a fine line between vulnerability and manipulation, showing how love can twist into something unhealthy when it's rooted in possession rather than mutual care. The outro is where the song's haunting obsession reaches its peak through relentless repetition, creating an almost hypnotic effect that mirrors the inescapable nature of the speaker's surveillance. By cycling through every single line from the previous verses and choruses, the outro reinforces the idea that this watching isn't temporary. It's eternal, looping endlessly like a broken record. The speaker isn't just making a threat, they're engraving it into reality through sheer repetition, making sure neither the subject nor the listener can forget that "I'll be watching you." What's especially chilling is how the outro strips away any remaining pretense of romance or vulnerability. Earlier sections like the bridge showed glimpses of the speaker's emotional turmoil, but here, all that's left is the cold, mechanical repetition of control. The recycled lyrics, every breath, every move, every bond, every step, no longer feel like observations. They become incantations, as if the speaker is trying to manifest their presence in the other person's life through verbal ritual. The lack of new lyrics suggests stagnation. The speaker isn't growing, changing, or healing. They're stuck in this cycle of surveillance, and they're determined to keep their subject stuck there with them. The structure of the outro also creates a sense of inevitability. Unlike a typical song that might fade out or resolve, this one just keeps going, cutting off abruptly with "I'll be watching," as if the surveillance continues even after the music stops. It's genius in its creepiness. The song doesn't give you closure because the speaker isn't offering any to their subject. The absence of a clean ending makes the listener complicit. We're left wondering if the watching ever truly ends, just like the person being watched must wander in the narrative of the song. Ultimately, the outro transforms the entire song from a story into a state of being. It's not about what the speaker will do, it's about what they are doing, always and forever. The repetition isn't just a musical choice, it's the whole point. Love isn't supposed to be a prison sentence, but that's exactly what the speaker has created, an infinite loop of control where every breath, every step, every word is monitored. And the most terrifying part? There's no way out. The song ends, but the watching doesn't.